Hey, this is Michael Emery. Thanks for tuning into the Slow Baja. This podcast is powered by Tequila Fortaleza, handmade in small batches, and hands down, my favorite tequila. Hey, do you have a four-wheel drive? Did you always want to see Baja racing up close and personal? You need to join Slow Baja in the Nora Mexican 1000, April 23rd through 30th. The Safari class is your way to get your street-legal four-wheel drive vehicle up close and into the action. You got to check out the Safari class at nora.com. That's www.norra.com.
Okay, so I had never done a podcast before.
Yeah, but you're a talker, and that's all you have to do.
It's just, you're going to ask me questions?
Yeah, just scoot that over a little bit so you're talking into it. There you go. And so you can look at me and talk to me, and there we go.
That.
Awesome.
All right.
Dude, you're a pro. All right. And just talk to me in a normal voice, Edson.
Okay.
Hey, it's Michael Emery, Slow Baja Travel Talk, and I am in the famous Edson's Ice Cream Shop in San Ignacio, and I've got a beautiful date shake that his mom, Jackie, made for me, and his dad's Hetty is looking over it. He's going to break my leg if anything untoward is said here. He's showing some muscle, but he's got a fresh Slow Baja tea that he's going to be put on when he goes out, and he's going to look sharp. So, hey, Edson.
Yep.
Heard a little bit about your story already in just the hour I've been in town, but let's go through it.
All right, let's go.
How'd you get started? How'd you become the famous Edson?
Well, when I was a little kid, I was really fond of the races, pretty much. I was like, it was my whole life, And as I grew up, watching all these guys coming through town, I was like, I need to talk to them, So I taught myself English in Google Translate, and then when I see people coming into town, I was like, I need to practice, So I was going over them and trying to talk, And then while I was talking to them, I was like, hey, we have an ice cream shop, you guys want to come and check it out, And they're like, oh, ice cream. And they're like, all right, let's go. So everyone was coming into the ice cream shop, and they were tagging the place, So every time, like next year, they were coming into town, they were like, oh, let's stop at the ice cream shop. Let's put another sticker, And another thing that I was doing is I was collecting jerseys from the dirt bike guys, So I was like trying to put the biggest Baja collection, which I think I have the biggest one because I have like 60-something jerseys in my house. So, I mean, everyone was coming into town, and I was the only kid pretty much speaking English, So I became the little Mexican friend with all these guys, And then I met Cameron Steele, which was one of the main guys that got me into the Offroad Community, He was bringing all these big groups into town and all these like big names, and they were posting it on social media, and they were like talking about the ice cream shop, So everyone started getting to know the ice cream shop, and now every time everyone was coming into town, they're like, oh, we saw the ice cream shop on TV, And they just coming in, they just saw all the posters and everything, and they're like, oh shit, and they're like, this is cool. And now it's just like a how do you call that, waypoint, something like that. Everyone stopped by all the time.
Yeah, it's a shrine. It's a mecca. You got to come and stop by, get a date shake or an ice cream. So maybe it's a question for Jackie or Hetty. How come an ice cream shop? Why did you say, let's open an ice cream shop in San Ignacio?
Dice que si por qué ustedes dijeron de que querían hacer una nevería, por qué decidieron hacer una nevería. There wasn't an ice cream shop in town, so they're like, why not an ice cream shop? They never thought it was going to turn into like an off-road ice cream shop, or something like that. The thing was that I was just hanging with all of these guys without knowing that it was going to turn like this, It all has a process, when everything started, and then when I started getting into the races, and from that point, everyone was like, let's go to the ice cream shop. Everyone's like stopping by and bringing stuff to put it in, and it just happened. It was just a matter of time hanging with them. Sorry.
And what year did you move to San Ignacio?
San Ignacio, it was en el 2010, somewhere? Yeah. 2010 we moved here.
2010. You're 23, I
I'm
heard.
23.
Just turned 23.
Yeah, I just turned 23.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. And so you like to skateboard around town, see what's going on, help people when you can. I saw you're involved.
I mean, since I was a kid, I mean, the only thing that we could do here in La Plaza was riding bikes or skate, you know. So all the time I was skating out here, I was watching people going to Scorpion Bay, you know, or stopping by or something. So I was all the time friendly, you know. So I was like, showed up and say hi, you know, if they need anything or if they want to know something about town, you know, and I give them a little tour, and I started being friends with all these kind of people, you know, surfers, off-road, anything, you know. Even though, like, my parents now, they have, like, a contract with all these guys from States. They have big tours with RVs, and they all come here to San Ignacio. They stay at the hotels, and at the afternoons, they all come to the ice cream shop, and they get ice cream and stuff like that. So from a little idea, you know, it turned out into something bigger than we thought that it was going to be, you know.
That's great. And tell me a little bit about San Ignacio. Tell me a little bit about the history and what, I mean, it's a beautiful little town.
San Ignacio, I mean, I love San Ignacio, you know. It's a oasis in the middle of that peninsula, you know. You're driving in the middle of the desert, and then once you get to this point, you know, there's a lot of palm trees, and there's an oasis, you know. So the town has a church that it was built in 1728. It's almost 300 years old, which is, I think, one of the prettiest attractives from San Ignacio. You know, everyone just come to see the church. Plus, we have all these trees, you know, and they make it look prettier, you know.
It really is. It's beautiful.
And you know, I mean, San Ignacio, it's like a old school town. You know, there's probably 2,000 people that live here, and they don't really like let a lot of new people to move in. You know, it's kind of like a old school. Like, if you want to do business with someone, you gotta know that person, or that person gotta know your family and stuff like that. So it's a really small town that everyone knows each other. So I mean, it's really cool. And most of the people, they're from La Bocana or Punta Briojos or Tortugas, people that used to work at the cooperativas, and they used to go fish and stuff like that. They got old and they got retired, and so they just moved out here.
Tell me about the dates. Your mother made me a beautiful date shake. It's beautiful. Fantastic. And we stayed in San Juanico at the SJ Surf Society. It's a beautiful house with Jeffrey Westman, and he said you have to get the date cake. He said he gets it, he eats it by the time he gets to his house.
Dice que estuvo en San Juanico ahí con un amigo de ellos y que le dijeron que vinieran a probar el pan de dátil, que siempre viene aquí, que lo compra y que cuando se regresa para allá que se lo acaba antes de llegar a San Juanico.
So tell me about the dates. Date palms are all over?
Well, there's 3 types of palm trees here in San Ignacio. One of them, they're males, and they don't produce any dates. There's another one that has the dates, but there's some like dry dates, you know. And there's another palm that has, it's called the Mejul, which is the greatest date, you know, like the greatest type. And I mean, the dates are really good for the body, you know. It helps you for your digestion and your blood pressure and all that. So a lot of people here in San Ignacio, they eat it for health, you know, and they said it's cool. It's good for sleep too at night, and it has some other benefits, because out of the seed you can make kind of like a coffee thing. So you roast the seed, and it has the same process as coffee, and then it's gonna come out the same way. So you put it on the coffee maker, and then it's gonna make you like a tea, and then you drink it, and then it will help you clean your stomach, and then it gives you energy, but it doesn't have any caffeine.
Wow,
Yeah.
I'm learning something right here with Edson in the ice cream shop. Hey, you started a lifestyle brand.
Oh yeah, I did.
Let's talk about that.
Well, when I was in high school, I got a project my last year in high school They were like, you need to do a project, something that you have to create. And then I was like thinking, what should I do? Like, what can I do to present in school? And then I was, as I said, I grew up with all these guys from the races, and they were like, you should start a brand. Everyone knows you. And I was like, damn, I need to find a name, And I was like looking for a name, and I came out with a name called Monclova. And I asked my friends, and they're like, that sounds like a resort. You can use that. And they're like, why don't you use your name? Because everyone knows you already, so you can market your own name, as the O'Neills or all those guys. So I was like, let's do it. So I contacted one of my friends, and I was like, dude, I need to do a logo. I want to do something really simple, but something that people can remember. So he just made my name, and I was like, that's not good. I was like, this is not good. So I contacted another friend. I was like, dude, I need something simple, like super simple lines or something that I could use my name. And he came out with this logo right here that you can see. And he's like, I was like, sorry. I was like, that's the cleanest logo I ever seen. Like I was like, all right, let's do it. Let's use that one. So I presented in high school, and then after that I moved to Ensenada because I was going to do college. And when I went to college, I met a friend, and I was like, you know what? I have a project. I want to do a brand. I want to start it. And at that time, I didn't have any money, with me. So I was like, I need someone to invest some money so I can start it. So he was like, all right, let's do it. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna start looking for embroideries places and stuff, So I called these guys, and they're like, yeah, we can make you a prototype or something. Just send us the logo, blah, blah, blah. So I sent them the logo, and then the next day, they just made me a clean patch. So I was like, it looks so clean. So I was like, I'm gonna order some hats. So I ordered 30 hats, and then I got them in one day. I got them embroidery in like 3 days. And then in just one night, I just sold all of them. So I was like, I can make some money with this, And as I was into the Offroad community, I was like, started hitting it up all my friends. I was like, hey, I'm doing my own brand. Like, hey, can you help me with that? And I was like, can you wear my shirts or can you wear my hats? And they're like, yeah. So I was like getting into that market, but I realized I was like, I want to help like the kids in Mexico too, So I contact all these kids from Ensenada that they were like MMA fighters, gymnastic guys, surfers, and all that, and they were good, and they got people on social media, So I was like, if I want to start doing something, I better do it in my country, So I started it with all those guys and started giving them shirts and hats, and when I had some money, I gave them some money, So I just kind of like start with them, and then from that, all these kids, they just turn out into like big time athletes. The gymnastic guy, he just won the Pan American Games in Peru. He got gold, and then I have the other kid, the MMA kid. He has won 3 world titles, and then I had Jace Jones, which is like a NASCAR driver right now, late new model NASCAR driver, something like that, and then I have some other boxers that they just started and stuff like that. So far so good, I'm doing it by myself right now, and then things are getting there, It's just a matter of time, as I said, I'm doing it by myself, but I'm doing it right,
We can't wait to drive our old Land Cruiser down to Baja, and when we go with Baja Bound Insurance. Their website's fast and easy to use. Baja Bound Insurance, serving Mexico travelers since 1994.
Edson, let's talk about how much the off-roading community has meant to you in your life. You just told me that Walker Evans helped put you through college.
Yeah, well, I met Walker. I'm gonna tell you a little story before that. So, first time I met Walker, he came into town and he forgot some stuff on his car, and we were at Racing Beans, and I saw these kids running around, and I saw them grabbing the stuff. So I was like, they were my friends, so I was like, I'm gonna tell Walker, you know. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna tell him. So I went straight to the restaurant. I'm like, you just got robbed, and I can take you where your stuff are if you take me on a ride on your car. I was like, let's do it. He's like, all right, let's go. So we came in his class one, and we just came into town, and we went over the houses. We got the stuff, and then he's like, you're a good guy. And then after that, every time he was coming into town, he's like, let's go to Laredo, let's go to La Paz, let's go to Cabo. And I started growing up, you know. And by the time it was time to go to college, he was like, I'm going to pay half of your college. And I was like, wait a minute, what? He's like, yeah, I'm going to pay half of your college. So I moved to Ensenada, and then I went to this private school, and then my parents, they pay half of it, and Walker paid dollar half of it. And then another story that I have from the off-road community was that ¿hace cuánto fue el huracán que cuando se perdió toda la nieve? It was 2014. It was a big hurricane that came into town, and then it was a big water coming into the
River.
The river that we have here, and it destroyed all the payment and everything. So it was 1 week that we couldn't cross into town, and there was no electricity, no water, not anything. So we couldn't come to the ice cream shop, and we lose all the ice cream. And one of the guys from Cameron Steel, his name is Ken Neal, he contact me, and he's like, I'm gonna give your parents some money so you guys can buy all the ice cream again, and then you guys can work again. And then he sent my parents $5,000.
Wow.
And then they just bought all the ice cream again, and they put everything back.
What do you make of that? I mean, what do you make of that level of generosity? Because I always ask people who are here to explain Baja to them, but explain the Baja racing community to me. What do you make of that?
Well, I mean, everything I know, pretty much, I have learned it through the off-road community, you know? So, to me, I think it means everything, you know? Because that's where I learned about business, friendship, family, you know? So I think the off-road family is just a huge community that helps each other, you know? Everyone is so kind, and everyone is so friendly, you know? They just want to help, and they just want to have fun.
What do you know about Kurt LeDuc?
Kurt LeDuc, oh, I met him when I was, I think, like, when I was probably like 12. He was racing beans, and then I showed up, and I remember, I think it was after Nora, something like that. And then he has a big race suit, and I was like, hey, can you give me your race suit? He's like, no, but you can take a picture with it. I'm like, all right. And I jump in a race suit, and I took a picture with him. And then next thing you know, every time he was coming into town, he was looking for me. He's like, oh, I met this kid, and he took a picture with my race suit. And then he started coming down with Cameron, and then we started being friends, you know? And then every time he's down here in Baja, he always stopped by. And then I became friends with his son Kyle and Todd, so I hang with them all the time too.
Awesome. All right, well, one more time, Edson, tell us where people can find you on Instagram and Facebook.
They can find me on Instagram as Edson Inc., Edson, then underscore Inc. It's underscore, right?
Yep.
And then Edson Kargola as my personal one. And then I have Edson Ice Cream Shop too on Instagram.
Awesome. All right. Thanks a bunch, Edson. I appreciate
problem.
it. Cheers.
Slow Baja's wardrobe is provided by Taylor Stitch. I was lucky enough to wear test some items on my 3,000-mile Baja XL trip. The vertical jacket, the California shirt, which is a beautiful flannel shirt. I call it the Baja California shirt. And some white oak, beautiful selvage denim jeans. Put all that stuff on to make me look good in Baja, and I never took it off. I was wearing that stuff for 10 days straight. That vertical jacket is a handsome, handsome jacket. In the truck, under the truck, at dinner. Taylor Stitch, clothes that are meant to wear in, not out. Folks, you made it this far. I gotta ask you, please help us out. Rate it, review it if you're on iTunes, share it with a friend, go to slowbaja.com or slowbaja on Instagram or Facebook and get some stickers, hats, t-shirts, Every little bit helps me put a gallon of gas in the old FJ40 or a taco in my belly, so please do what you can to help out. I really appreciate it.